Next on the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time, Brock Lesnar is back and in a big way. What will it take for Roman Reigns to be the next megastar in WWE? Why did Bray Wyatt lose and John Cena win at Battleground? We answer these questions and look back at the week in professional wrestling right here, right now on My 24 Milwaukee.
This is the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime TV, the longest running pro wrestling news program in the world, with your hosts David Hero and Damian Nelson.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time Saturday night here on My 24 Milwaukee and PWRshow.com. Damian Nelson sitting here alongside with David Octavius Hero. How are you, David, here on Saturday, July 26th, 2014?
It's Saturday night?
It is Saturday night. It's like we're Saturday Night Live, SNL, or Shotgun Saturday Night.
Or the main event.
Or Saturday night's main event.
Yes.
The main event was on Fridays, primetime.
No, the main event was on Monday. Or
no,
Tuesday.
that was Raw.
Yes.
Tuesday was Tuesday Night Titans.
In Texas.
One time. Let's get to this week's Battleground pay-per-view report. And as you know, Battleground emanated to us from Florida last Sunday night on pay-per-view and on the WWE Network.
Tampa, right?
Let's talk about, yes, indeed. Let's talk about some of the key matches that occurred on that event, David Hero. Firstly, Chris Jericho gets a win over Bray Wyatt. And I, for one, was a bit surprised to see Bray lose this match.
I was shocked because Chris Jericho, who's had almost, a year or so off, right? A year plus?
We'll go with that.
A year plus off, comes back and in his first match in a year's time defeats a guy who's been on a roll, Bray Wyatt, with just one code breaker. Clean, 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring. Extremely shocked that Bray Wyatt loses only after one.
And we saw that continue over into Monday night, where Chris Jericho was to have hosted Bray Wyatt on the highlight reel. The highlight reel would never happen in its normal form, as Chris Jericho was attacked backstage by the Wyatts. A little blood from his ear there. The story clearly will continue.
I think that's because of his music.
The story will continue through SummerSlam. Do you know that Chris Jericho has a new album that dropped this week?
Yeah, it's amazing that Chris Jericho is back, and it seems to coincide with an album?
What do you mean?
Well, some guys come back rocking Batista for movies. And
Did you see Batista on #Kimmel last Monday night?
You know what? Batista is a star.
Did WWE tell us Batista was going to be on Kimmel?
No, no.
Interesting.
You know why? Because they have no investment in the Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Even though they should get one of their former talents over.
John Cena wins the fatal four-way matchup and retains.
That doesn't bother you? That Jericho comes back to promote a record that's dropping?
Everything's about promotion. Everything in this world is about promotion.
Shouldn't they be upset with that?
I don't know. I don't think for them.
Well, we kind of point them in what direction to go.
John Cena wins the fatal four-way. He defeats Kane, Randy Orton, and Roman Reigns. He walks out of Battleground, the WWE champion.
Which we knew John Cena was going to win. It was the logical choice. Even though everyone wanted Roman Reigns to win, nobody wanted Randy Orton, nobody wanted Kane, no one wanted John Cena. But I would have rather have seen Cena defeated one of the other two guys than Kane. Everyone's beaten Kane lately. Daniel Bryan's beaten Kane.
What does that mean? Well, has Daniel Bryan ever been on Kimmel?
I don't believe so.
The Miz is the new Intercontinental Champion, ladies and gentlemen, beating all the other combatants, all 19 of them in the Battle Royal. But the Final Four was a bit interesting. Ziggler, Bo Dallas, Sheamus, and The Miz.
How great was it? I mean, all of those Dolph Ziggler fans were going...
Me included, because he is endorsed.
...going banana that Dolph Ziggler had won the Battle Royal only to be dumped by The Miz. I mean...
But Ziggler would then get a win over The Miz on Raw the next night.
Right, but that's fine. But the fact of the matter is The Miz left Battleground as the Intercontinental Champion. And Dolph Ziggler... I mean... Everybody was cheering for Ziggler to win. And everyone thought he did. And who would have thought the three-letter word could have broken so many hearts in Tampa?
Well, I mean, he is a former WWE champion. He is a man who has headlined WrestleMania.
So is Sheamus.
Which WrestleMania did Sheamus headline?
What about Daniel Bryan?
He headlined it in the opening match, which was 18 seconds.
Which
WrestleMania did Ziggler headline?
I'm sure you've played the game a couple times. Didn't you use him in like a create a character mode?
A match advertised yet never occurring Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins, Mr. Money in the Bank. Plan B, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose. That match did not happen. They are itching to get their hands on each other. You know what?
At first I was frustrated because I really wanted to see that match, but it makes the most sense because they need to keep Dean Ambrose elevated like he is one of the top three, like he is part of the Shield, one of the top three guys in the Shield. If he were to lose to Seth Rollins, now he drops down to, let's say, I hate to use that, but a C+ player.
C+? C+. Below B+.
Well, yes. Daniel Bryan is a B+. So this way, Rollins, Reigns, and Ambrose are all still elevated.
WWE Battleground this past Sunday night. It was a pay-per-view special event on the WWE Network. Your overall impression of the show, David Hero, pass or fail for Battleground?
I thought it was a solid offering. I thought the show was well done. I thought the opening tag match was fantastic.
Yeah.
With Usos and the Wyatt family. Definitely a pass for me.
All right, folks, that's this week's pay-per-view report. Still so much more to come. When we come back, we look at what I thought a near perfect edition of WWE Raw with some very noteworthy things coming of it. Right after this, here on the Pro Wrestling Report, primetime Saturday night on My24 Milwaukee and PWRshow.com.
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, the insurance company may try to stop you from getting what's fair.
They better be careful. Now I've got Gruber Law Offices.
One call, that's all.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report primetime Saturday night here on My24 Milwaukee and PWRshow.com. Damian Nelson sitting alongside David Hero, and it's time to go into this week's WWE report. And the big ending for WWE Raw this past Monday night, very newsworthy, as Brock Lesnar is back, and he will be the man to take on John Cena for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship at SummerSlam. Brock Lesnar expected to have returned. He did so in the same arena and city where he returned to WWE the night after WrestleMania 29, 8. And wow, his
presence.
His presence, obviously huge, but being represented by Paul Heyman, who just absolutely destroyed anyone else on the microphone at the end of that show. Paul Heyman, just brilliant. Brock Lesnar, a bona fide star. He now takes on John Cena in the main event at SummerSlam, coming up in a few weeks.
And it's the match they need at SummerSlam. They need the two marquee guys. You know, it's funny, someone made the comment, well, they just had the match in 2012. Extreme Rules.
Didn't John Cena beat Brock Lesnar?
Yeah, but that was 2 years ago. We've already seen The Rock and Austin headline WrestleManias.
3 times.
3 times. We've seen The Rock and Cena headline WrestleManias. Twice. We've seen multiple similar main events. But this is going to be a big match for the company.
Should Brock Lesnar ever lose another match?
One more match on his way out. But right now, going forward, let him just be that beast incarnate. Let him be the guy that just beats everybody up.
You know, we talk about believability. We talk about suspending disbelief. We talk about professional wrestling and what its presentation is on a weekly basis. Here's the challenge with this past Monday's Raw. I never had to suspend my disbelief because everything was so believable. Every word that was spewed out of Paul Heyman's mouth regarding Brock Lesnar was irrefutable, and it was, you couldn't argue anything he said. Can you not wish for a better superstar than Brock Lesnar?
Brock Lesnar, even though the fans may not care for him because he's a quote-unquote part-time player, they despise John Cena more.
You mean he's a part-time player who defeated a even more part-time player to end his streak?
That's all details, and we can't go into details on here because people get lost. We're in
Milwaukee.
We have to connect the dots. A, B, D, G, and T. So let Brock Lesnar take all that hate from all those fans that hate John Cena and let him be doomsday to John Cena's Superman. And let Brock Lesnar beat John Cena at SummerSlam and become the new WWE World Champion.
I think we'll hear more about this later in DWHS, but before moving on to that, Triple H kicked off WWE Raw this past Monday night, and he had an interesting address to all of us fans watching, referred to his friend Mark, who on social media, well, because they were so angry with John Cena winning, would never watch WWE again. Now, this was clearly a knock on the fans, a knock on the internet fans. Now we say internet fans, but those who are on social media who talk about and have heard or have said these things. But it was interesting that Triple H just took that jab right there at all those fans.
He's the prince.
Was it a smart move? Why acknowledge this even? Why acknowledge the Cena hate? Because essentially that's what he did.
Because eventually you just get sick and tired of people who have no idea, think they have a clue, that need to buy a vowel. You need to put people in check.
But they're buying tickets.
Not all of
merchandise.
them. Not all of them.
But that's a bad generalization because a lot of them are.
But the ones that complain the loudest are the ones that have the least investment.
Here's the thing. Well, we're going to book Roman Reigns through WrestleMania later on in this broadcast, which will be an interesting conversation. And I've got an interesting point to make regarding this in that segment. But before we go on to that, in addition to, and I said this past Monday's Raw was near perfect, how great was that segment between Brie Bella and Stephanie McMahon, which led to a believable arrest in the later part of the show when the detectives came down and approached Stephanie. It was so great. Who knew? Who knew? Now, Stephanie's a great performer.
Right.
Brie Bella, a good performer as well, but the execution of this was what was key. It wasn't fake cops.
No.
They didn't mic anybody. You didn't know what was going on. Commentators didn't speculate.
We're quiet.
It felt, and obviously it wasn't, folks, but it felt real, and it was great and so well done.
And I loved Hunter's reaction.
His reaction at the car when he asked if it was a hybrid, or his reaction when he didn't go get her out of jail?
Because that's Hunter. That's him, you know?
And again, details. Showing his hands the whole time. A lot of us know that you're supposed to do that. But
well, I don't. I've never been in that spot before.
Oh, sorry to hear that. But she slapped a fan. At its core, that's what happened, and great job. Just well done. Again, praises are worth singing, and credit is definitely due for that. Very well executed. I was also very impressed by the matchup that Dolph Ziggler had with The Miz. I thought it was much better than I expected it to be.
Well, Dolph Ziggler is a tremendous athlete.
He's endorsed, as is The Miz. I was torn.
You were torn, weren't you?
I was torn.
Who did you cheer for?
Oh, well, Ziggler won, so him.
Okay. You know, The Miz is your guy.
He was one of the original endorsed talents.
You dressed up as The Miz for Halloween one year.
How do you dress up as The Miz?
Like a goof.
Paige and AJ, folks. This one finally broke down. Paige attacking AJ, and then the icing on the cake. Paige skipping around the ring.
Fantastic.
Just
you know what?
Two great Diva segments.
And now, from what I understand, I've never watched Paige when she was in NXT, but apparently that was her character there, the anti-diva. Let her be that character that got her called up to the main roster.
Ladies and gentlemen, breaking news coming in here to the PWR studios. Breaking news from Monday Night Raw. I hope you're ready for this. It's shocking. Zack Ryder gets a win on Raw. Zack Ryder wins a match over Fandango in just under 2 minutes.
And Linda is still celebrating. That's why she's not here this week.
Can't find her.
She's still hungover.
She's still what?
She's still sleeping.
Ultimately, it won't matter. But firstly, it was surprising to see Ryder get a match. Secondly, then to get the win. First win on Raw since 2012.
They had to have Ryder on. You know why?
Why?
Because they kept showing his picture on the screen of potential #1 contenders. So they had to bring him out.
Cesaro's no longer a Heyman guy.
For right now. He'll be back.
Really?
I think it hurts Heyman, or it hurts Cesaro because of the mannerisms around outside the ring.
Hurts him?
Yes.
Okay.
Cesaro's a great in-ring talent, don't get me wrong, but having the addition of Paul Heyman outside, just barking little orders and little mannerisms and little looks and just his character, it makes him a bigger star.
How about Kofi Kingston, Big E, and, Malcolm Xavier, it looked like, this past Monday night. Xavier Love? Oh, this ought to be good.
They don't need to do this.
Do what?
They don't need to have a black faction. Because they're already trying to portray him to be angry.
Here's what was great about Raw, folks.
No, listen. Don't sugarcoat it.
They took the time to tell stories and analyze what was going on the broadcast.
We're not us. We're not us. Them.
We had so many on cameras with Michael Cole, Jerry Lawler, and JBL. Why? They analyzed and shared with us, the viewers, the reasoning for everything that had happened. This was one of the most deliberately paced and meaningfully paced Raws I've seen in a very, very long time.
Because they need to set the table for SummerSlam.
And they did so in high fashion.
So who do you think they're going to feud with first? The Matadors? That's the only other threesome out there. I mean, think about it. They're not going to dust off the Bariquas and bring them back. You know, the DOA
this week's
is retired.
Report. We're going to take a timeout, and when we come back, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to book Roman Reigns, plan out Roman Reigns' career to make him a mega star come WrestleMania 31. The Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Saturday night continues right here on My24 Milwaukee and PWRshow.com.
Don't miss your chance to catch the best pro wrestling on the planet. Ring of Honor Wrestling returns to Milwaukee for Death Before Dishonor 12 at the Turner Hall Ballroom Friday, August 22nd at 7:30 p.m. with appearances by the phenomenal AJ Styles, the Young Bucks, Christopher Daniels and Frank Kazarian, ROH legends the Briscoes, the new world champ Michael Elgin, and many more. Experience body slamming, brain busting pro wrestling action live. Visit ROHWrestling.com now for tickets and info.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime. What are you writing all the time? We had a recent question about that on Twitter at PWR Show.
I like to take notes. I like to be prepared.
One wouldn't know. You show up less prepared than Jerry Lawler does here every week.
I'm working on my autobiography.
Let's hope that's an ebook, because you won't be able to recoup the printing costs. Yeah, online.
There's a lot of pictures in it.
Folks, a special report, special segment here on Primetime, and I want to talk a little bit about Roman Reigns, a man who I have endorsed and who I think will be a mega star in WWE very, very soon. So, many people, including myself, have been singing the praises of Roman Reigns for a very, very long time. Many of us also thought that he could have and should have won the matchup at Battleground this past Sunday on pay-per-view. And he didn't do that. John Cena, of course, won. But I actually don't think he should have won that matchup. But I do think that Reigns' time will come sometime in the next 12 months in WWE. Now, you, David, have even said that Reigns will be a top star in WWE within the next 18 months. So, let's take a look at how you get there by, I guess, not even fantasy, but booking Reigns through WrestleMania 31, where he might end up in a main event matchup. So let's start with SummerSlam, which is coming up in a few weeks. Roman Reigns seemingly, quote-unquote, distracted by Randy Orton, at least that's what we heard, as he attacked Randy Orton at the end of Raw. But what do we go with Roman Reigns from SummerSlam, then to Survivor Series, then to the Royal Rumble, and then culminating with WrestleMania? Well, because it's easy. You can mess this up.
Well, you can, but it should be pretty simple to do. Because right now, Roman Reigns is going to be in quite the program with the Authority. You got to believe, if you believe in Reigns, that he will go with Randy Orton at SummerSlam. I'm guessing in some type of gimmick match, because they just can't have a regular one-on-one, because Reigns already beat Kane and Orton in a handicap match. Which, if you really think about it, on paper, that's a huge victory. Yeah. Because Kane and Orton are two top guys. Yep. Two top stars, both former world champions, both have had tremendous runs. Orton and Reigns at SummerSlam.
Okay. Who wins?
Roman Reigns.
Okay. All right.
Yes. He's going to go forward there. Then you got to slowly build him up for...
Got a couple pay-per-views in between, Hell in a Cell, whatever. But Survivor Series is probably the next one that
Survivor Series is the one that will be the launching pad for Roman Reigns.
Really? Where the Shield debuted 2 years ago.
Yes, and you have to believe if they're going to do business the right way, he'll wind up in a match with Triple H.
At Survivor Series?
At the Survivor Series.
Okay. All right.
Wouldn't you agree?
Because he beat Orton. Got a couple months of shenanigans. Big match at Series.
Yes.
Who wins?
Roman Reigns.
Wow. All right. climbing that ladder, rung by rung.
They're invested in Roman Reigns right now.
There's no doubt about it.
He's on the cover of magazines. He has a ton of action figures out. The company likes him. They like the look he has. He's marketable. He's unique. And I've said this before, women like him and guys like him. So then you got to get through December. And it's always nonsense in December. It's always a throwaway because you're building towards the Rumble. And maybe in between SummerSlam and Survivor Series, he gets involved with Seth Rollins. But I think Ambrose will be busy with him for a while. You build towards the Royal Rumble.
Yes. Where he eliminated, 11 or 14 people this past year in the Royal Rumble? I think he broke the record.
You have to believe, because with the WrestleMania being in San Francisco, and there's rumors of The Rock being back, and there might be a match with Sting, that the WWE title may not be the headlining match. Right?
As it wasn't this year.
So you could probably see Roman Reigns winning the Rumble, heading to WrestleMania. Now keep in mind, I don't know the character of Roman Reigns. I don't know what kind of person he is outside of the ring. From what I've heard, he's respectful, married, keeps his nose clean, doesn't get in trouble.
Literally.
So it's important that he keeps going forward like that, where he's a company guy.
Yeah.
John Cena set the standard for being a company guy. And look at the run he's had.
Yeah.
That takes us to WrestleMania. Who knows who the champion's going to be then? Maybe it's going to be Seth Rollins. Maybe he'll have cashed in. If that's the case, then it's a no-brainer that Roman Reigns beats Seth Rollins. But something has to come full circle at WrestleMania for Roman Reigns. It won't be against The Rock. It won't be against Brock Lesnar. It won't be against Sting. Because those three guys aren't going to put over a Roman Reigns, who's had 2.5 years in the business at that point.
Well, the next 9 months will be very interesting as it pertains to who will be, I think, a megastar in WWE, Roman Reigns. But with that, folks, let's go to this week's event center. As we said, Linda is out and nowhere to be found. So let's, I'll do this. I got it.
You can be the
I'll
event.
give Linda the night off.
Yeah, you can be the hot chick.
Welcome to the PWR Event Center, folks. It's brought to you by Gruber Law Offices, where, of course, one call, that's all. And coming up in the next few weeks, PWR is pleased to welcome Big Sexy back to Milwaukee in August for an evening with Kevin Nash on Sunday, August 10th at 7 p.m. at the Miramar Theater, located at 2844 Oakland Avenue. I understand Kevin Nash won't be alone.
No, he's not. He's going to bring some of his buddies, super friends. He's going to have Al Snow and X-Pac with him.
XPAC?
Yes, for the Q&A.
Tickets are available now at blizzardbrawl.com, and tickets do include a meet and greet with Mr. Nash.
Yes,
Hell of a deal.
How about that?
See Ring of Honor Wrestling when they return to Turner Hall on August 22nd. Tickets are available right now at ROHWrestling.com. PWR is coming to Los Angeles, folks. Join us in a private suite at the Staples Center for SummerSlam. Did you hear that? Private suite,
Yes.
Staples Center, SummerSlam.
Yes, I'll be there.
Tickets are available now at PWRshow.com, right now at PWRshow.com. And if you buy them right now, you get tickets to the suite, tickets to the event, tickets to the suite for the low price of only $150 each. That's right.
Wait. I paid more than that.
You did. And they're going to pay less. That's right. Buy now before the price goes up next week. By primetime next Saturday, the price will have increased. So head on over to PWRshow.com. Get your tickets to join us in a suite at SummerSlam in the Staples Center. That's it for this week's Event Center, presented by Gruber Law Offices. And now, let's throw it on over to David Hero for this week's DWHS.
Monday night on Raw, the WWE Universe learned that Brock Lesnar will challenge John Cena for the world title at SummerSlam. Some fans rejoiced while others chose to stay frustrated because the company did not go with Cesaro, Bray Wyatt, Seth Rollins, or Roman Reigns. This may not be the answer you are looking for, but here's why. With SummerSlam taking place in Tinseltown, Hollywood, Los Angeles, the WWE will have a tremendous opportunity to promote the pay-per-view all over. Can you imagine the first interview? So, John, you're defending your title against Roman Reigns, Bray Wyatt, Seth Rollins. What can you say about him? What can John Cena say about him? They're youngsters. He can sell Brock Lesnar, not only as a killing machine, but the man who ended the legendary Undertaker streak. This is SummerSlam in Los Angeles, not Elimination Chamber in Minneapolis. And with that, David Hero has spoken.
TNA Impact Wrestling, again from New York City at the Hammerstein Ballroom. Bobby Roode gets a big win over MVP in a Falls Count Anywhere match. Now, Roode, of course, attacking MVP in the back. Kenny King getting involved. Eric Young getting involved as well. Interesting dynamic with all those stars.
It really is. I mean, it's almost... Bobby Roode is becoming the main guy, isn't he?
Yeah. He should be.
Absolutely. Bobby Roode is perhaps one of the best all-around talents in TNA Impact Wrestling. You got to believe they're building towards him and Bobby Lashley, maybe for Bound for Glory, because they have not started the Bound for Glory series yet.
Well, they need to figure it out completely before they start it this year.
And it's going to be in Japan.
How's that working? Have you figured it out yet? Has any of your friends told you, your little friends down there in TNA?
Yeah. It's going to be interesting.
So it'll be on tape delay?
Has to be. Are you going to be up at 4 in the morning to watch it here?
For that? No. There's no chance in heck. Absolutely not.
Don't sell so hard. Come on. You know people watch the show here.
The Hardys reunited.
Oh, how great is that?
Matt and Jeff Hardy back in New York, the Hardy Boys.
Say what you want about Matt Hardy and the demons he's faced and the issues he's had and whatever else, and same with Jeff Hardy. The Hardys are money.
Money.
They are a fantastic team. The crowd loves them, and what a great match with the Dudleys.
Last week we talked about the ECW nostalgia play.
Yes.
That was there, but not as prevalent this week on Impact. However, it was still a nostalgia play with the reuniting of the Hardys. What will we see? Next week, of course, is Destination X, Six Sides of Steel returns, again from New York. But what will we see going forward from Matt and Jeff Hardy? Is this a long-term thing, or was this a hot shot, if you will?
I'm sure. Well, you know, his Ring of Honor contract, they're still working out the details on that.
Well, and from what I understand, he has a contract, but he doesn't.
I'm sure Matt will go back and forth between both companies.
Well, both companies want that, though.
Well, it doesn't matter. If they want Matt Hardy and Matt Hardy wants to do both, they'll do business both.
Mm-hmm. So should it continue in TNA Impact Wrestling?
Absolutely.
The Hardys?
The Hardys are a draw. They really are.
Mm-hmm.
But it depends. I mean, New York is a completely different market than, let's say, Lexington, Kentucky.
How so?
Well, one is an A-town. One is not.
So 2 weeks now deep into the New York City shows from Impact Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
What's your overall impression? How does it feel to you? We've watched Impact for years, obviously from the studio and then on the road. But
the Hammerstein Ballroom,
matters.
if they could work out a deal to always have their tapings there, they should do it. Because
very expensive.
It's a building that seats 1,500. Now, last week's TV was one of their highest rated shows in a long time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay? Obviously, that building works.
The fans
and it wasn't a great show last week.
No. It was good.
The next couple weeks get better.
Get much better. All right, well, that's this week's Impact Wrestling Report, folks, and, well, that's it. So
that's all we got, huh?
That's it. That's all we got. Well, we're on the road to SummerSlam.
You didn't bury anybody this week? I can't believe it.
What do you mean bury anybody? I don't do that
on the show. You didn't make fun of people?
I'm a reporter. I'm a broadcast journalist. I just present the facts.
Just the facts?
Just the facts, ma'am.
Okay. Ma'am.
Thanks for tuning in to the Pro Wrestling Report here on My24 Milwaukee. And remember, you can always see all of our broadcasts at PWRshow.com. Now, David, no greatest ever this past week. No Feedback Friday last night. It's summer. You know, we've got some vacations and whatnot going on.
Well, let's be honest. I've been going back and forth between San Diego.
And we'll have both those shows back for you again next week. And next week as well, we'll be back with a brand new edition of PrimeTime right here on My24 Milwaukee for that one.
This one.
Damian Nelson saying thank you so much for tuning in here on My24 Milwaukee and PWRshow.com.